What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Hooked with TMO Fishing Podcast, where we talk about fishing and recovery and whatever else we want to talk about. Just a disclaimer, I may or may not be wearing pants right now, but that's okay because you can only see it from the top up if you're watching this on video. In this episode, I'm taking it back to last year when I did a Facebook Live event with my friend Mark DeLaros of MDLR Fishing on YouTube. Mark is a retired Marine turned full-time YouTuber, makes his living making YouTube fishing videos. He has an amazing channel. Check it out at MDLR Fishing on YouTube. Just a quick disclaimer before we get into this episode. I've since upgraded my internet, but we did have some lag and a little bit of audio issues. So please pardon that, bear with it. You should be able to piece together everything that we are talking about through the little skips and blank spots, but it's not too bad, but I did want to give you a heads up. Anyway, hit that subscribe button. No matter where you're watching this or listening to this, it really helps me out a lot. Helps grow the channel, helps tell the platforms that you are watching it, and that way they keep putting it out to more people. So yeah, enjoy this little kind of throwback to Mark and I chatting last year about what it's like to become a full-time YouTuber. Enjoy. So yeah, I've done a little background for everybody else. You and I, we met at ICAST last year. I was just trying to play that video. You were there just reviewing stuff from Old Town, and that I think was a really good idea with their PR department, is to reach out to people like yourself who were, you were really a Hobie guy. That was your boat, and you guys were given honest feedback, on the boats that they were given, because there was no, you weren't being paid. You weren't pro staff, none of that. So you would come to ICAST to look at, that 2020 Predator and just kind of, cover the show from your end. And then again, last summer, we get to hang out a little bit more. I guess it was still work, but it didn't really feel like work when you came to Maine. And we just fished all day in those new boats.
Yeah. I guess that just shows a lot about the character of Old Town, how much they believe in their product. Giving a social media influencer, so to say, as a YouTube creator to just like the free will to talk about what they like, what they don't like, what they would, what they want to see inside their boats and everything. And then for them to actually listen to the feedback that we had to give, knowing that I used to be a Hobie boy, and they finally knocked it out the park with that Autopilot 120. The Autopilot in general, the 136 it's going to be just as great, but working with those guys, them working with the channel has been nothing short of amazing with what they have been able to do in the kayak industry, a top tier kayak, and out there in the market at such a low price. It kind of is a win-win situation for everybody involved, whether you're an Old Town lover, a Hobie lover, or all those other kayaks that are out there, because this kayak comes in at such a great price with a good, everybody in general wins, because the other companies are going to have no choice but to maybe lower their prices.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely a good idea. There are always going to be haters and naysayers and people that don't believe it. They think, oh no, it's not genuine or organic, and I got to tell you, it is. And watch some of the earlier videos from you and I think it was Nick, and Jack and Elias. I mean, you guys didn't take it easy on the boats. I mean, you gave honest opinions and you talked about the things you didn't like about them. I think in your early ones, you had still said that your Hobie was going to be your main boat for a lot of things, and then the autopilots came out.
No doubt. That the Autopilot 120, after putting it through its paces, I mean, whenever we tried it in August, when myself, you, and Alex went up to Maine, just testing it out up there, I was like, wow. I was already the light bulb went off on how I was going to be able to apply that here in Texas. And my whole audience, knowing that dominantly really shallow water, 12 inches or less in most cases, you just figure out how to make it work. And what it has done more so is basically open up a lot more fishing styles to me that I normally wouldn't do, because trying to control your kayak and keep it, steer clear of else, that autopilot has done it. The spot lock is just a feature that do without now, because you just don't realize how much it means to you until you actually use it. So, I mean,
Yeah.
it's a spectacular platform to fish from.
Yeah, it is. I mean, between the deck space and the spot lock and the, the autopilot feature. I mean, I was in mine yesterday for 9 hours down in Cape Cod fishing the salt for black sea bass and everything else. And there's this one hump that I love, and I found it 2 years ago when I was down there. I fished my way out to it, and it's about 3 miles offshore. It was it was 2.2 miles from where I was yesterday when I decided, all right, I'm going to have to go out there because I caught giant black sea bass on this particular hump. And I hit that autopilot. I got myself going in the right direction. I hit that autopilot, and I never touched it again until I arrived out there. I mean, literally in the current kept me. I didn't set a waypoint. If you had the spot lock, you could set a waypoint out there. That'd be even better, but I didn't. I just kept it in a direction, and I used that heading, that autopilot feature, and it just 2.2 miles. I just kept looking at my fish finder, and I was still right on course. I was like, man, I'm heading right for it. And I was eating my lunch and changing out some gear, and it was awesome. I remember when I was asked to come up there last summer when you guys were in town, I knew they were putting a spot lock motor in a kayak, and I have that same motor on my big boat. I have a bow mount 55 pound. I just couldn't imagine how they were going to make it work. And you know what I mean? That's why they're the engineers and I'm the fishing guide, because I couldn't wrap my mind around it. And I remember when I saw it, I was just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
This is it. Because, you see people putting bow mount trolling motors on their kayaks and fishing tournaments that way, but those kayaks aren't built for that. They're just designed around it like this one was.
Yeah, no doubt. Just being able to see what you're going to do with that platform in particular. And I'm not trying to turn this into like an Old Town show or anything like that. But
we're in the same hat and everything.
I know, right? That was from the iCast. But yeah, I think most people are like me and you. I probably never would have given Old Town a shot at all, because I've been a faithful Hobie boy for years, darn near like 10, close to 11 years in Hobie platforms, the Outback and Pro Angler. And they never really gave me a reason to look elsewhere. And so I've always stuck with the platform. But whenever they reached out and they said, hey, yeah, I'd like one. I mean, I'd be crazy not to take one. Leave it on your garage. That's what I've done with every Old Town that I have owned, and they do not warp, or their shape does not just it keeps its shape no matter what. Even in the hot Texas heat, while it's on my kayak rack, I don't have to worry about that plastic whatsoever. It's just a phenomenal kayak all the way around.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, not to turn this into an Old Town commercial, but I think there are a lot of good kayak manufacturers out there today, and it's really a matter of which ones best meet your needs for the way you fish, right? So, I mean, that's the reason that I'm with Old Town, is they make an amazing product. They're really good people that work for that company, and their kayaks fit my needs better than any that I've ever tried. So, it's you still own your Hobie, right? Or Hobies?
No, I don't. I sold those.
Oh, really?
I have no need for them. Yeah, that's why I tried to say it in my video. I received a couple of comments said Hobie Outback or Hobie something to that effect, dethroned. And it was in reference, my opinions and everything else as it pertains to my style of fishing. But I have no need for those kayaks anymore. The Autopilot 120 has basically fulfilled every need that my Outback uh, did for me, but it does it at a higher level. It allows me to fully concentrate on the art of fishing versus the art of controlling a boat to allow you to fish. So,
Yep.
I mean, that's why I absolutely love it.
Yeah. Nice. Well, if you guys want to see more about the boats, Mark has a ton of videos, really good reviews, and he's fishing in them all the time and real practical. If you want to see him in action, or you'll get a lot of your questions answered, definitely go check out MDLR Fishing on YouTube.
Appreciate it.
Let's talk a little bit about you. I was intrigued when we met, and I started to hear a little bit about your story that you were retired from the Marines. Talk a little bit about your military career.
So 22, a little over 22 years of service in the Marine Corps. I retired as a master gunnery sergeant, which is an E9. That's the highest rank that you can go in the Marine Corps or any like service in our branches. And after those years of service, I knew I was done to come back home. I had spent the last approximately 7 years away from my family. And my final 7 years I did away from home. So I was commuting back and forth.
Oof.
The toughest tour that I had was going to New York as a master gunnery sergeant to run the squadron out. What was it? Stewart Air Base. And it took its toll on me. It took its toll on my family. So I was done. And I didn't know what I wanted to do. Just like I think most people really don't know what they truly want to do. I just knew that I wanted to be happy in life. I was tired of living on a schedule, tired of helping to build other people's dreams. And so watching YouTube one day, I learned that these young gentlemen were not even out of college. Some of them dropped out of college. They were doing YouTube, found out that they were earning money by doing that. So I researched it a little bit more and I gave it a lot of long, hard thought and come up with the decision to basically, I'm going to try this out. So I learned to start filming a little bit better. I studied their like template, so to say, on how they
Mm-hmm.
filmed, what audio equipment they were using, what camera equipment they were using. And just through time, I started acquiring everything, learned how to edit, and applied what I loved about their YouTube channels to what I was trying to do. And thank goodness everything it worked out, because when my boss asked like, hey, what are you going to do after the Marines? And I was like, I'm not going to do anything. I have no intent on going back to corporate America or going to corporate America. I just want to enjoy my time and just live a simple life. And now I'm able to do it.
That's awesome. And it's funny. I think a lot of people treat YouTubers as like some insiders club, like there's some secret they know, like the equipment that they don't tell anybody. And it's
Yeah.
it's amazing. You go on your videos and look in the descriptions, and there's a list of all your gear, including your camera and audio equipment. I mean, it's all there. There are no secrets, and it's not some secret insiders club. It's really, you see these communities of YouTubers that eat that live in the same areas, and they meet and they'll get together and film together or fish together while they film. I've seen, you and Nick at times are both filming, you're fishing together and you're both filming for your channels. And,
Yeah, it's one of the best ways to grow for sure. On do of collaborations with other YouTubers in different areas if you're able to pique their interest. Say this one thing that I have learned throughout the close to 3 years that I have been filming full time is another YouTuber that's around your channel size, as far as because there's different caliber YouTubers that are out there. Some of them have a really heavy business sense about their channel, just doing it for their health or just because they love fishing solely. Now, I mean, naturally, if you're a fishing YouTube channel, you love fishing. I mean, that's your passion foremost. But the other half of it, you may start off because it's your passion and that's what you enjoy sharing with the world. But then as you just this online content world, uh, companies, they start reaching out to you because they notice how you conduct yourself online and they thoroughly enjoy it, and they can see you uh, using their product to show the entire world that their product works. Not that, hey, we want to pay you to use our product whether it works or not, and just show that it works. And if you enjoy it, well, I mean, it's yours. Basically, get rid of it. That's the
Yeah.
way I've approached it, and yeah, it's been a blast, man.
Yeah. Yeah. It sounds it. Yeah. I remember, I've had a channel for a long time, and I'm a fishing guide. That's more what I do full time, and I can't believe the number of people that come to me by way of my YouTube channel. But I've been a one or two GoPro kind of guy for years, and I remember talking to you at iCast, and I was like, "So how much equipment? Do you mind me throwing this number out?"
Yeah, no, I don't care.
I was like, "How much equipment do you have?" And you were like, "Well, with me, I have about $8,000 worth of equipment in my backpack right now." And I was just like, holy crap, 8 grand. But you
Yeah,
have some really nice camera and lenses and your audio. And you remember you telling me, like, I'm a stickler for good audio and video.
yeah,
And I mean, it's definitely, there's a distinct difference between, somebody who just goes out with a GoPro and somebody who's made the investment. It's a business expense, a business investment, to give better audio and video to um, to the people that watch their channel. And I guess I have to thank you because it made me relook at like my audio and the quality of my editing, and cost me money. So I guess I'll thank you for that, because it definitely was inspiring, to talk to you guys and to see, like, like I said, it's not an insiders club, and there's a lot of help out there, and people are willing to help each other out. It's not as competitive as you would think.
yeah. No, I think everybody is open. I mean, that's how I found out what gear to possibly try out. And then it also helps to just have your YouTube friends, because you basically talk to each other and help navigate this, YouTube world with a business mindset on, if I'm going to do this, and if I have a real big reach for an audience, how can I do this full time? How is it going to help to feed my family and keep the roof over our head? Because it is very scary. You could, like, everything that you have worked to build up, you could, if do one change that is to be able to take. Next thing you know, they start dropping like flies. They don't want to watch your content anymore. So it's crazy how quickly you can lose it. But that's what you lean on each other for. It's like, hey, you ask advice before making big to the way content, because people are attracted, uh, and basically they've gravitated towards your personality, your content might be. It's always better to have experience elsewhere, as an outside viewer looking in at you, and just to give you that advice.
Yeah, no, it's good advice. It's one thing I've noticed is that it's trying to film, like, I love to fish, right? And I'm a fishing guide. And when I'm as busy as I want to be, I don't get to fish. So when I do get to fish, I don't always want to deal with battery changes and full SD
Yeah.
cards. You know what I mean? Like, nothing drives me crazy. Ice fishing sponsors. I was at a training, I think it was 2 years ago, at one of my bigger sponsors, and the owner of the company was there, and he was like, we really liked it. I hadn't really done much with YouTube in 2 3 years. He said, we really liked it when you were making those YouTube videos, Tim. And I was like, ooh. So because I had gotten away from it because I just get tired of dealing with batteries and, making sure I'm facing the right direction and, might be in a place that I don't want to totally blow up. So I got to make sure that it's not right behind me. And, because I'm not the only one that fishes these places, and out of respect for the other people that fish there, I try to take that into consideration and on some of the less popular areas and try not to make them too popular. So it's not all just jump in the kayak and run out there and fish. And it's not even how I make my living. So I can only imagine that, from your end.
It is tough. No doubt. I mean, I can't tell you how many times it's happened to me where you just learn from previous experience where it's been a very tough day of fishing. Next thing you know, you hook into a big redfish. And being that I'm a bit unconventional with using ultralight casting rods and a bait caster to fight these 24-inch reds, and they just take drag like no other, then the battery dies. And you're like, okay, let me just finish fighting this guy. Then I'll swap the battery out and continue filming after I've already landed him. And you go throughout the remainder of the day, you don't make any more catches. And you're like, oh my gosh, so half of my video was wasted because of the battery dying. So then you just learn, like, the battery dies. Okay. You can't tell the fish to time out. So you kind of loosen the drag and do a battery swap to your GoPro with the fella on the line, and hopefully he doesn't get off or take you into the oyster, because they'll pull like no other. And once you get the battery back in, then you continue on fighting. But now I've learned to carry another GoPro just so that at least, but I have an additional camera rolling in the event that something like that happens. But I completely understand where you're going with that, because as fishermen, that's what you want to do. You don't want to mess with audio or video during the middle of a fight, because you just tend to forget that the camera is there and the camera is rolling. And then of catching a big fish, you cannot help voice and stuff like that. It is what it is. Like, the audience is either going to like it or hate it. Just move on. If you hate it, please.
Let's talk about the early days. You've been at it for 3 years, you said?
Yes. I'm going to assume you said I've been doing YouTube for approximately 3 years.
Yeah.
I did. I retired from the Marine Corps in August, or it was, August of 2017. And ever since then, actually 2017 is whenever I moved back home. I was still on active duty, and I retired on December 31st, 2017. But I actually started fishing full time whenever I was allowed to come back home to Houston. And that was August 2017, and just been doing it ever since then. I had a pretty robust savings to be able to hold the plan. She thought I was crazy. Actually, she didn't even outright tell me, voice her opinion, but in her, in her own mindset, she was telling me that, no, I think he's only going to probably last 3 months, and then he's going to get bored and get a job. But no, I was like, just please give me 2 years to show that it's going to work. And if it doesn't work, then, I'll be forced to basically get a job. And after about 1 year, I remember June 2018, and I was like, oh my gosh, YouTube is not paying anything. You have to be in it for the long haul. And YouTube just does not pay anything at all. So I found out about a crowdfunding website, decided to join that. And that is for true, my core audience is what I consider them, or actually the hardcore audience. And they absolutely love the content that I'm producing. And just by donating a couple of dollars here and there, that has helped me tremendously to carry forth, because the savings, it basically, I went through it quick, because the bills still have to be paid when you're not bringing money in. And that was the saving grace of the channel. and allowing me to continue fishing. But yeah, our whole lifestyle basically changed. So I'm grateful for the family allowing me the opportunity to do what it is that I'm doing, and they've adjusted the spending lifestyle that the Marine Corps had afforded us
Mm-hmm.
before. But now everything is falling into place. The longer you stay in the game, and if you present yourself in a respectable fashion, uh, you don't have to stray from your true self, but if you can use better words to convey what it is that your message,
Mm-hmm.
instead of the short 4-letter words, just use the expanded vocabulary that was gifted to you in school. And the companies will notice you, as I said, and some of them want to work with you, and then some of them will even help you out monetarily through partnerships and stuff like that. So it's been great, and it's always positive growth as long as you keep publishing content and staying relevant in the
Yeah.
world of YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm guessing you didn't open a YouTube channel and end up with 32,000 subscribers overnight. At what point did you know, like, okay, I think it'll work. I think this is gonna work.
That was when um, I, I kind of figured that I was on the right track when the fishing industry started taking note of the channel. Now, of course, you get a lot of companies that send you emails and like, hey, we would like you to promote this product. We're willing to give you this for free, and just use it and show people that you can catch fish or whatever, and just let them know about it, where they can purchase it, and everything else. Uh, when that started happening with the smaller companies, I was like, okay, we're on the right track. I was real happy to uh, be presented with those offers. But then when the top tier companies start coming to you and offering, the handshake, and saying, "Hey, this is what we have. This is what we would like to do. Um, are you okay with it?" And that's whenever I absolutely knew that, okay, this is definitely going to work,
Yeah.
because now we get to live a very comfortable lifestyle. It's still nothing extravagant, but just to put it into context, my wife, this was her last year of teaching, and she has basically stopped. And my paycheck alone is now going to afford her the opportunity to just have peace of mind and kind of do an early retirement without actually receiving retirement. So, yeah, we're well on our way, and nobody's going to take what I've done away from me,
Nope.
but me. And the only way I will throw it away is if I stop, like if I get lazy or complacent and don't come up with any my audience, no longer wants to see.
Yeah. Yeah. Before we get too far into it, thank you for your service. That's definitely a long career, and I'm sure you've been through it, and you deserve a break at this point. But on behalf of myself and everybody watching, yeah, thank you for your service.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, I knew. I was telling my girlfriend Samantha, we were talking about this just before I came on, and she's like, so how did you pick? Because I know a bunch of you guys, and I was just, I don't know, there was just something. He's got a very inspiring story, retired Marine turned YouTuber. Like, there are probably, tens of thousands of 16-year-old kids. I wish they were all watching this right now, but they're probably thinking to themselves, that would be awesome. If somebody said, would you like to go into the military and when you get out, fish for a living? So, very inspiring story, and your humility definitely comes through in your videos, and you're the same guy in person. For anybody watching, Mark's the same guy in person that he is. There's no act, there's no character. It's just what you see is what you get. And I think a lot of people like me appreciate that about your videos. And a lot of the people, that, Nick's videos are very, very similar. It's just what you see is what you get. And so how is the growth, to kind of keep it on your channel? How is the growth? I mean, I've been watching it, but I've been following you, mostly just since last year. How is your growth? Is it increasing over time? Obviously, the speed of your growth, I should say.
Well, for, let's just say, a middle-aged YouTuber in the fishing niche, it's tough. It can be is definitely a tough maze to. It's hard to get that younger audience who's very, with like all the social media platforms that are out there that you can use: Instagram, Twitter, what's the new one now? TikTok.
Yeah.
A lot of those to funnel that traffic from those platforms out there towards your YouTube, and then your numbers will tend to grow. Also, the other thing, and I'm not trying to put down any young YouTuber by any means, it's just that a middle-aged man on YouTube, you cannot get away with what an 18, maybe a 24-year-old would do on their fishing channel, because your audience is like, dude, how old are you? You should know better, man. Yeah. So trying to go out there and find that viral video, we just, at our age, we don't hunt them down. It's like, I got too much to live for. There's way too much success of the channel that if I were to do something idiotic, then my channel probably would not be able to recover from it. It's like, have a little bit of dignity. So it's tough for us. The growth is definitely steady. It's always positive growth every month. And I would say 100%, well, no, not 100%. 100% of full-time YouTubers definitely track their growth, and they're always digging in their analytics every day, just like a person on Wall Street taking a look at their stocks. What can you do that's better? Trying to find trends on titles that you used, thumbnails that you've used. You're basically trying to get that edge to hopefully figure out YouTube's algorithm, because you can have the best video in the world, but if YouTube's algorithm doesn't take note of your video and promote it, if they don't promote it, then you don't reach another audience. That's why you always hear YouTubers like, subscribe, share, whatever. The share definitely helps out, because that is by word of mouth, someone talking about your channel, and maybe they're watching a video at work or school, and oh, check out what just happened, and then they show their butt and they all subscribe. So that's a good thing. The likes and comments, that just helps to let the algorithm know that your video or channel is generating a lot of chatter, and maybe we need to recommend this video more. But to put it in a number, right now my current growth is about 60 subscribers a day. So I'm very pleased with how that's going. I don't expect to be 100, maybe 1,000 a day. I'm pleased, because it's allowed me to live a comfortable lifestyle.
Yeah, that's awesome. How many days a week are you on the water?
So
weather permitting.
Yeah, we'll go out there maybe at the most 4 days. We've had really bad weather, and then I will go nonstop. It's like I have been cooped up indoors for so long that I just have the gas in the tank to go 7 days, sometimes 10 days, and start stockpiling my footage from fishing trips. And sometimes you get skunked when you go out there, and I even show those videos as well, because it happens. I mean, anybody who never shows a skunk video, whether the audience wants to see it or not, it just lets them know that you're like, hey, you're only human. and
Right.
you're not a professional like fisherman who is going to these tournaments and that's how they're putting food on the table. I mean, you're just a regular person. Sometimes you get lucky. I always present myself as like I'm the luckiest person in the world, and tune everything and start patterning out these fish. To me, it's just all luck.
Yeah. 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 What do they say? 90% luck, 10% skill.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, part of the luck is that 10%, as you said, is making your luck happen by putting yourself in the right place at the right time, just based off of everything that you've learned.
Yeah. Yep. Totally. I can't. This was maybe even a little selfish. I was really excited just to hear, your story in more detail than we were able to get into under some of the work situations that we've been around each other for. Um, Definitely, inspiring story. And again, thank you for your service to the country, and now for giving me something to watch when I look out the window and see the wind blowing too hard to fish on my home lake. So it's you make really good content. It's real. It's not scripted or salesy or anything like that. It's honest and quality. So I appreciate it. Anybody that's watching this, if you do have a question later on, go to Mark's channel and comment on one of his videos. I go through your comments pretty regularly, and I see how many of the questions you answer, which is pretty much all of them. So yeah, anybody that has any questions, MDLR Fishing, Mark DeLaros, I really, really appreciate you taking the time to do this. Anything we didn't talk about that you want to throw in there? Any plugs or anything like that you want to say?
No, I'm perfectly fine. I to talk with you and catch up, and hopefully the audience found whatever we were talking about interesting enough to check out the channel, and that would be cool.
Cool. Awesome. Well, I'll let you get on with your evening. It's almost 9 o'clock here. I got a full belly and my eyes are looking forward to zoning out on some mindless television show probably. So
All right,
thanks
brother.
again, man. And happy fishing, and hopefully we get to talk soon.
All right, tight lines to you, brother.
See ya.
Bye.